Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial showing you how to do a trace print. And I've set it up in a way that you're going to be able to do 4 at a time. So the first things first, the equipment. I'm just using a 4-inch brayer. I have a 8x10 sheet of plexiglass, and then I have the Akua Intaglio ink. It is oil-based but water soluble, and it cleans up with just Dawn soap and water and hot water. All right, so the first step is I've got to ink this plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ink on the brayer, and then I'm going to go ahead and I've put a piece of white paper under it so you can see the level of smoothness that you're going to want to get when you ink the plate. So you want a thin coat. You don't want it to be super thick. Another side note on Akua ink, it dries a lot slower than a standard oil ink for printmaking. So once you're done with these, you're going to have to set them aside for quite a while in a safe place so that they can dry. Notice it takes upwards to 3 or 4 weeks to be completely dry. But that also depends on your climate and the level of humidity in your house and the airflow. Alright, so we got a nice even coat. It's nice and sticky and shiny, but it's more like a satin. Alright, so the next step is to move the plate into the registration. So for here, I've done a registration where, as you can see, there's 4 pieces of paper, and in the center I've done an outline of an 8x10 vertically and horizontally, or if you want to call it portrait and landscape. Alright, let me get this set up so it stops moving. Alright, and then I'm going to move the plate into place. And what's neat about this process and this setup is it can lend to you doing multicolor plates. You would just basically take this plate, ink a couple different ones, different colors, and then just move them as you like. So what I'm going to do first to make it easier is I'm going to flip up this piece of paper here. And I'm going to drop it down and just let it sit. Just by doing that, you're going to pick up, let's see if I can get this to peel back up. You're going to pick up some noise automatically, okay, especially on your first print because that plate is wet, okay, so that's just from flipping it down, so it created all this beautiful noise. Then what you're going to do, you can either draw right on the back of your paper, or I like to use a separate piece of paper. So I've got a quick little gestural figure study here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to avoid, I'm going to take tape first and gently tape it to the back so it does not slide around. Get the tape to peel. Sorry everyone, hold on. Little technical difficulties. Okay, so I'm just going to take 2 little pieces of tape and I'm going to place it onto my drawing to keep my drawing from shifting while I'm working. It also allows me to lift up the paper and look what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my gloves off and I'm going to start drawing. So you can use anything like a ball tip pen, pencil. You can use anything to, like, you can use a pencil without using lead and just draw. You can draw with the eraser side, but the goal is try not to touch it, because if you do, you're going to end up with mark. So right now I've got the ballpoint pen extended. All right, and I'm just going to make some lines. Kind of follow a little bit what I did, but kind of deviate a little bit at times. Doesn't have to be exactly what you draw, or you can take your time and be super careful with it. I like the more gestural feel of just kind of moving with the paper. The way it kind of lets it be what it wants to be. I might put some darker mark in here. Want some value. And then I can check and see the progress of the drawing. So I can just lift up this corner here, flip it back, and as you can see, it's really, really dark. And sometimes the first drawing is like this, just because you have so much ink on that plate already. So I'm going to call it quits on this one. I'm going to take my picture off, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate the plate, because I could just flip that one down, but for ease of what we're doing right now, I'm just going to rotate the plate this direction. All right, and now I just flip this paper forward. Again, you can take a different drawing, or I'm just going to stick with the same one. Feel for where the plate is and get it set up. So then back to drawing again. This time I think I'm going to use something different. I want bold, dark lines, so I'm just going to use a ball or a Sharpie marker, the lid on, and just use the lid to draw. This is going to be bigger and far more gestural than the last. And then I'm going to kind of go in, press into the plate a little bit. Maybe I want to get a little bit more noise in there. Let me check and see where we're at with the drawing. Get a little bit more in there. All right, so then we just lift up the drawing carefully. And there you go. Peel it off real fast. And voila, trace print. Again, all this lovely noise just comes simply from pressing into the plate or the way the paper falls. So it creates a very unique and interesting monoprint. And later on, you could actually take this, scan it, and put it onto, say, a solar plate or etch it onto a plate. So there's a lot of uses for it. And again, you would just keep doing the same thing. You'd rotate the plate again, flip a piece of paper, like right now this one's lined up to flip. Just flip the paper down, and I mean, at a point you may want to re-ink this plate or ink another plate, and like I was telling you, you could ink different colors onto each plate. You just swap the plate out and it's already re-registered. As you notice, this one slipped a little bit, but this one here is pretty centered. The other one slid a little bit, but as you can see, it's pretty centered because you've got the registration. All right, and so that's the end of my trace print tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a good day.